All right, welcome back to the Talk About Purpose podcast. I'm Matt Huey.
I'm Brian Harper.
I'm Frank Curry.
And today we're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe, if you will.
Jim Thorpe.
Not the place, the man.
Yes,
Man.
not the place, the man.
However, the place is named after the man.
And it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It is nice.
And we'll
We have a
get
lot
into that later. But,
Yeah.
you know, we're a bit of a rough start there. But Jim Thorpe was Sac and Fox, and he was born in the territory of Oklahoma. Before it was Oklahoma, it was just Sac and Fox. And one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is his grandfather, or one of his ancestors, rather. I don't know. Couldn't really find if it was his grandfather or his uncle or who he was, but he was somehow related to the war captain Blackhawk.
Blackhawk.
Pretty cool name, actually.
That's actually a really cool name.
Yeah, and he actually had his own war named after him for fighting the government for his land back.
I like him already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good guy.
yeah.
Good guy.
He's real badass. So, I mean, his ancestry is already pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of legend. And when he was born, his name was Wathohuk, which meant bright path, or path struck by lightning, which was pretty freaking cool. Because he was born, supposedly he was
Shit,
born.
I got Francis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got some
Mine's
crazy ass
Thomas.
awesome name. It's
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey. Yeah.
That's true, though, man. That's a really cool
They
name.
got some cool names.
Yeah, we should
My
do
name's
we don't
Brian. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
like we don't got nothing cool anymore.
vote on names.
Oh, good idea.
Yes.
Anyways, back to Jim Thorpe.
Okay.
So, after when he was born, they think that it was during a lightning storm, and that's how he got his name. Pretty cool.
Yep.
And he was born a twin, which most people don't know.
I did not know that.
I did know that.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
He was
What's
born
his brother's name?
Charlie.
He actually passed away like
Mhm.
early on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So during this time, they were trying to make Indians civilized.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he was hammered with racism. and
Yeah.
cultural problems and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
And I know that he got hammered with racism, but overcame it, obviously. But
Yeah.
I did read a lot that he had a lot of racial prejudice and stuff against him.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went through there's a lot of adversity there that he had to overcome.
Yeah. A lot. And it started young, too. That's what's
Yeah.
crazy. Because he went to, the government was forcing people to join these schools, well, indigenous people to join the schools, Indians, if you will, and make them more, quote unquote, civilized. So there was a school right outside of the Sac and Fox Nation that he got sent to at first with his brother Charlie. And they basically made them do like chores and kept trying to beat the heritage out of them, of the Indian.
Yeah.
And that was the first of a few schools he would go to. Yeah. Yeah. Now,
Could you imagine if they tried to do that shit today?
oh,
Oh, we don't like that music.
well,
Get rid of that music. That's not our heritage. Yeah,
Right.
Come on, man. You can't be like that. It's what makes everything rich by bringing everybody's
Yeah.
different cultures into
Cultural diversity.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what makes us rich.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't
For
even.
real. Yeah.
That's
And this
horrible.
was government.
Yeah, that's well. That's what I'm saying.
That's what's really
But
crazy.
they're here for us.
Oh, yeah. They're going to
No.
save us for sure.
Nope.
Yeah. They got our best interests.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, at that school, he would often run away, go home. You know, he didn't like it. He wanted to be home. And unfortunately, though, now before I get into Charlie, him and Jim Thorpe and Charlie would play a lot when they were younger.
Mhm.
And I think this is part of why he was so athletic, was because when he was younger, they would do an extreme version of Follow the Leader. It was basically Dare meets Follow the Leader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they would do things like climb up a mountain. The first one to reach it wins. They would do stuff like climb up a tree, get to the top, and jump off.
Wow.
And it was like
What?
yeah. And they when the waters were high, they would jump in the river and see who could swim across in a crazy current.
And if you don't, you lose.
Yeah, you really lose.
Maybe well, now we're getting into Charlie, then I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately, Jim was the more rugged, stronger kid, and Charlie was kind of more the smarter one. And he would even help Jim with his schoolwork and stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he contracted
Wait a minute. I was thinking he was going to be like not the strongest swimmer and get down current. Pneumonia took the dude out.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anything, be thankful you live in a time when we can treat that and you can survive pneumonia.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at 9
Yeah.
years old, Charlie died then.
My goodness.
Yeah,
And
I became
that's-
pretty athletic when I was younger, but it wasn't from playing follow the leaders because I had to run away from a bunch of people, so I didn't get beat up all the time. Kind of the same story.
Roll, Forrest.
Yeah. I was running 11:22 in my 2 mile in the army because I was running away from people all the time. I had the lungs for it.
Yeah. You were always fast,
I
man.
know.
Those long legs.
Yep. Not so much anymore.
No.
Getting older.
No. But yeah, so after now the school he went to there was a boarding school. All these
Mhm.
make the Indians civilized schools were boarding schools. You had to live there.
I'm sure they were all poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they only knew how to live off the land and not how to sell stuff to the white man at that point in time, right?
Right.
So they had to be poverty stricken, put in these boarding schools, just treat it like absolute garbage.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get to that with Carlisle for sure.
Yeah.
That's coming up. But then he went to so there's two different theories here from historians. There's the theory after his brother died, his dad sent him to a different school then, 300 miles away. I believe in Kansas. Yeah. He sent him
Probably
to a
made him
different
run
school.
there.
So that way, now there's two different theories. One is his dad, Hiram, was known to be a strict, very punishment-orientated father, which, I thought I had a lot of kids with 5. He had 11.
Wow. You
So I don't know how you
pull out game this week, son. 11. God.
Yeah.
God. That's
So-
just pure laziness.
Yeah.
God, dude.
I don't feel like pulling out.
This is about me.
Yeah, right.
All right.
All right.
Taking enough
Tangents.
hits
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
move forward.
Gotta have some
Gotta
fun.
digress.
No, but so there's one theory that states that Hiram was tired of Jim running away from the school and coming back home. So he sent him even further away and said, yeah, go ahead, try and run now.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a while to get home.
Yeah. Good luck.
That's
then
incredible.
there's the other aspect, which is written about in another book. Oh man, I forget the book's names. But anyways, the other argument for it was Hiram actually loved Jim and he cared that his twin brother died in that school with him.
Oh.
And he didn't want Jim to have to keep
So-
going to the
so
same
went to
school.
another
Oh,
school.
okay.
I think it's probably a mix of both because I would
Probably.
get pretty fed up with my kid
Yeah.
constantly running away
Yeah.
from school.
Right.
But I would also feel bad knowing his twin brother died.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of truth to both of them.
Could have been a combination of the two that just made him make that decision then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. But then after that, he would end up going to the school that is notorious for Jim Thorpe, Carlisle. You guys know
Is that the name of the place or the name of the school, or was it in Carlisle?
I believe it was in Carlisle.
was in Carlisle.
Yeah, Carlisle, PA. Now, that's
Yeah.
really far away.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim
Yeah.
Thorpe to Carlisle is pretty.
Yeah, and but the second school he went to in Kansas, it was also a boarding school, obviously. There's some theories on why he had to leave there. His dad got sick, and Jim found out, and he left the school, got on a train, went back home. Turns out he was taking the train the opposite direction.
Oh my goodness.
So it took him an additional 2 weeks to get home then.
Wow.
By foot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. But the other theory is, and as we'll see later on in his life, he got kicked out of that school for drinking.
Oh.
So, and there's no documented evidence that's hard and fast that we can point to figure out which one of the two it really was.
Oh.
Which is crazy. And here's another thing that most people don't know. So after he came home from the second school, he actually stayed home and he helped around the farm because his family had a big farm. And he got tired of his dad being so harsh on him. One day he decided to skip chores with his brother and his dad beat him for it. He whipped him and he said, I deserved it, but I didn't feel like taking it anymore. It was a pretty crazy statement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this point, he's pretty old at this point. He's a teenager now. And he decided he was going to show his dad he could take care of himself. And so he went to Texas.
What?
Yeah. He went to Texas, worked as a farmhand, made enough money to get a bunch of horses to come back and show his dad that he could be on his own and do everything. He's basically showing him he was a man.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
Which I don't think many people talk about that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that
definitely.
he took that little hiatus.
He's been
there.
all over the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy God.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, think about it. Traveling back then.
Yeah.
Into Texas from Oklahoma.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Takes you 2 weeks to get from Carlisle to Jim Thorpe. How long does it take for that?
Yeah, exactly.
My goodness.
Exactly.
We're spoiled.
We are.
We are.
Spoiled.
We take it all for granted. We do.
I'll jump in my car, go wherever I want.
Yeah. Now, for time reference, he was born somewhere around 18. Oh man, where is it?
88, I had.
88.
Yeah.
But there's some discrepancies there too.
What?
Yeah, because that's what Jim Thorpe claimed was 88. Jim Thorpe said I was born in 88.
Yeah.
But there's a christening document that says he was christened in 87.
Oh.
So he might not have even known his own birthday,
Wow.
which is
Well,
crazy.
Well, christening is usually pretty direct, so
Yeah,
it would be 87.
that's what most people go by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people
I mean, you
go
can't
by.
get christened before you're born. So.
Right.
I don't think so.
No.
Works.
No.
No, I don't think so. Even if you pour stuff in there, it's still not christening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, even while he was at that second school, though, they had a football program there.
Yeah.
And he would watch the football program, watch it. And he was always a pretty athletic dude, always going out hunting and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
against
He's an
his brother
Indian.
too, yeah.
He still
Yeah.
had his heritage and still worked on a farm. Now, we all know how farmhands are.
Yeah.
They're just naturally
Farm boys are strong as
Yeah.
hell. Yeah.
because they have to use their bodies, and
Yeah.
it builds strength
Yeah.
And endurance.
and
Yeah.
endurance. So he would watch them, and one of his teachers there noticed he really liked it and sewed together a little ball for him. He'd take it and he'd play with some of the other people around his age and stuff like that. So that's what made his next decision, him and his father, next decision to go to Carlisle so important. Because Carlisle was a school that had a outstanding sports program.
Gotcha.
And it was Indians only. They were still trying to civilize the
Yeah.
Indians.
Yeah.
So that's how they got to Carlisle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, Carlisle was an interesting school.
Yeah.
You guys see, so in Carlisle, there was a lot going on in that school. They did have an outstanding sports program. The athletic director there, or whatever his title was, would go to all the Indian nations and say, hey, do you have athletic Indians? Send them to my school.
Yeah.
Now, you'd literally scout
Yeah.
all the different Indian
Yeah.
tribes for the most athletic kids.
Indian Scout.
So,
Indian Scout.
yeah.
But yeah.
Plausible.
pretty much.
Plausible
Yeah,
thing.
so
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe knew of them, and they actually knew of Jim Thorpe because they knew he was very athletic and
Yeah.
good student. But it was still an Indian school. So they were still, there was still punishment for heritage, for looking like an Indian, for praying to their gods, for any talking. They couldn't even talk in their native language or they would get beat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Imagine that.
Yeah. The school's motto was kill the Indian, save the man, if that gives you any idea.
That was their motto?
That was their motto.
Good.
Socially
Holy
accepted.
Gosh.
I guess my question is why aren't we giving reparations out to these Indians?
Yeah, that- like, if anybody-
Because like that is absolutely horrendous to do to somebody. I mean, I understand there's been other turmoil and other things that were done that were inhumane, but why aren't we calling everything out?
They got casinos and stuff like
Well,
that, right?
yeah,
So-
they
Yeah, but
did.
come on.
They did have
Yeah.
some government help. They
Did they?
did.
They did,
Yeah,
yeah.
later on they did.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
They had their lands, a lot of their lands. Well, no, some of their lands, very small, given back to them. So that,
Yeah.
not much. But
What
it
I'm,
was
what I'm
something.
saying is like we were taught about, racism and we're taught about, slavery and stuff like that, and how the government and how, you know, everything was done to the black man, why aren't we talking about the Indian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my question.
No, I mean,
Because I think they definitely need to be discussed as frequently as slavery then. Because I mean, not only were they slaves and they were scalped and everything, right?
Yeah.
But then they were also put in places to say, you're no longer you. You forget everything about you. So it's pretty horrible and horrendous.
it really was.
But it's not talked about as frequent.
No.
It should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And beatings weren't the only things that they did at Carlisle. So there was a case against them later on. And in that case, they found they'd also separate them. They would starve them
At a school.
at a school.
School.
Yeah. So the sad thing is there's 189 gravestones at this school of children that died there, Indian children that died there. Now, how many schools do you know that have children that have died in them?
I don't know any. Died.
Oh, I
Not
mean, if it's
personally.
anything now, it's that they, you know, collapsed on the field playing sports or something from a heart condition they were unaware of or something like that, or
Nothing.
something else. But we're not going to talk. No, it could be many things, right?
Nothing like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I'm not trying to discredit one or the other.
Mhm.
I just think we should talk about it encompassed.
Yeah.
Talk about everything.
Yeah.
More rule for the government to be shit, to be honest with you, because they were sorry, they like slavery, you know, and now they did this. To my knowledge, they're doing this to Indians. So, like, I think it should all be brought out together. Why was one discussed over the other?
Yeah, it was so malicious that the government would go in, and if an Indian tribe or a leader wouldn't agree to their terms, they would steal their kids and force them into these schools.
Wow.
That's how crazy this is.
Wow.
I think one of the Hopi Nation's chiefs had that happen to his son in this school. Yeah. Yeah, pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting stuff.
There'd be hell to pay these days.
Yeah, there really would. And that's why, you know, there were so many fights and how their heritage really played a big role in Jim Thorpe's life. Really did.
Yeah.
So when he left that other school to go to Carlisle, one thing I thought was amazing was what he said, what Hiram, Jim's dad, said to him when they finally decided, okay, we're going to go to, because there was benefits to going to Carlisle.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the downsides of it. Their athletic program was outstanding.
Yeah, and it was probably one of the better places to go to. You know what I mean? It has better credentials and, you know, better Google rating, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. That. But yeah, so it did have its upsides.
Yeah.
You know, you would hear the athletes talking about how great the school was and see them getting opportunities. So it was a place that you would want to go to if you were athletic.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Or they took care of the athletes.
that's the issue.
It's like there's a lot of school, like Pottsville's like that too. You know, they like to take care of their athletes. Like they have booster programs for their football team. Like it doesn't matter if the wrestling team doesn't have shit, you know, as long as the football team's doing good though, they take care of them. So a lot of it's like that.
Well,
it's
and it scales up then. Look at college.
Yeah.
College is all about sales then at that point in time, right? Like Penn State. You know, Penn State has an amazing athletic program and they like to push their goods.
Wrestling and football.
You know, everything. They have every
aspect,
and
their band.
And look at their swag. You go everywhere. There's Penn State stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all about it's still an organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took care of their sports play. Anybody that plays sports there, they took care of them.
Yeah.
But everybody else was like a second-class citizen to them.
Yeah. Imagine if a college, you know, or the school changed and did chess competitions instead of basketball.
Right.
Yeah. Is it gonna be good for the organization? No, probably not. So you know what I mean? It makes sense.
They care about making their kids smarter. They cared about making them stronger and faster and beat other schools. And you know.
Yeah, exactly. And Brian, you hit on a big point there. So the people that you would hear from were the athletes talking it up, and the school would cater to them unbelievably.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't hear from was a second class, the Hopi Chiefs, you know, kid that was taken there forcibly, the kids that were beaten, neglected, and starved. You wouldn't hear those stories, but they were there, and there's a court case to prove it.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. There was a court case later on that proved it and kind of shut it down. Because of that.
So you're telling me media manipulation has been going on for a long time.
Ever.
Well, we're going to tell you the good stuff and keep out the bad.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Journalism is so much fun.
Right.
Yeah. And later on, it would play a big role in what happened to him too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, back to Hiram. So Hiram said something that I think is so significant for the character of who Jim was and what all he went through. He said, "Son, you are an Indian. I want you to show the other races what an Indian can do."
Awesome.
Now, is that not some freaking epic stuff right there?
Getting goosebumps
some
thinking about
inspirational
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I can only imagine if my father said that to me and said, you
Right.
know, go out there and show them what you got. Go out there and show them what we can do. That's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders now too, though, right?
What
So
you're
now
capable of.
I'm going to have to hustle twice as hard because now it's not just for me, not for me and my family. It's for everybody of my.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of responsibility.
A lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Talk about purpose.
Talk about
purpose. So now, and that purpose changed like that, pretty much. Like, oh shit! Now I'm setting.
But I don't know that there was ever anybody that handled that responsibility as well as he did.
Oh, he killed it.
Yeah, he killed it.
Yeah,
like everything he did, he just killed it.
Yeah.
What all sports was he in? He was football, basketball,
baseball,
track and field.
Yep. The high jump.
No basketball. No basketball.
No basketball. I didn't. Yeah, I was sitting here scratching my head like
field, track and field.
You do basketball?
That was football. That was basketball. I like basketball.
Yeah, there's a lot with him with football, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So anyways, when he would eventually end up going to Carlisle.
How does that? Yeah, my mom died before I was born.
1901.
Let's talk about adversity.
1901. So he was still in that other school. That's right. That's what I thought.
Got GPT for the L.
I looked at Google.
Yeah. So when he was at that second school, his mom died from blood poisoning, giving birth to the 11th kid. And
blood poisoning.
Blood poisoning.
I had that once.
Like sepsis.
Did have that one time.
Back then they really
from
don't
an ingrown toenail, believe it or not.
Oof.
Yeah, it got infected real bad. Didn't know. I've only ever had one.
Up your leg or something like that. How'd you know you got going on there?
I was out fishing. I was out fishing with my mom and her husband at the time. It was my sister's dad, Glenn. And we were out fishing. And as I was walking, my legs started to hurt really bad. And I was like, I didn't know what was going on. And I kept walking. And all of a sudden I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't use my leg anymore. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. So Glenn actually carried me back to the car, took me right to the hospital, and they told me that I had blood poisoning.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. They said that it could have killed me.
So what did they do? Like give you heavy antibiotics?
Antibiotics and did
something your toe.
Yeah, something. They did a lot. Yeah,
it's like sepsis now.
Yeah,
pretty much like sepsis.
Yeah, and they couldn't treat that back then.
Nope.
So your chances of survival were very low.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the average human age was in the 30s back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now we're 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. So, I mean, that just shows the progression of medical science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully.
People are living longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, they died quickly. So you'd be dead from that toe shit.
You would have been dead.
You'd be dead.
That's crazy.
You'd be fish food now.
Just from clipping my toenails wrong one time. And it's the only time it ever happened to me, but I was just like, it sucked. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Well, you know what doesn't help is all the bacteria underneath your nails.
Right.
Yeah.
Is really bad.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help at all. You get a little nick and then that bacteria gets in there.
Yeah. I remember people didn't have shoes back then all the time either. So they would walk around, with their nails.
Right.
That Johnny Appleseed story is true. You ever hear that his feet were like stones underneath from him walking barefoot all the time?
Probably
There's
calloused
that guy,
up. Probably calloused up.
You ever watch Dual Survival? You ever seen that?
Yeah, I've heard.
There's that guy that he walks around barefoot like the whole time in those. Like he doesn't ever wear shoes.
Do you ever see what his feet look like?
He said they're like leather almost.
I'm good.
No. Yeah, no.
He even went to like a snowy area for the survival, and he had to put wool socks on. That's like all he did. Didn't even wear
That's
shoes.
some Wim Hof shit right there.
I'm good.
Yeah.
My feet get cold with shoes on and it bothers me.
My feet are cold right now.
Right. I don't like the cold.
I still can't get over the way that they are treated.
Yeah. I mean, so not only did Jim lose his twin brother, which, I mean, that's got to be so crazy hard.
Yeah, especially they're close and doing challenges and playing with each other all the time.
Right.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Then he loses his mother.
Yeah.
And right after he got sent to Carlisle, right after his dad Hiram said, you know, that great line, son, you are an Indian. I want you to show the other races what an Indian can do. I mean, just power. After that, shortly after, his dad would die.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Left alone.
Well, he has 9 siblings.
Yeah. So he's got.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to do that. You already did the subtraction.
Carry the chew. My feet are cold. Okay.
Right. Oh, gosh. But yeah, so after that, you know, he was pretty distraught. I mean, I could imagine, you know, losing basically everyone that was really close to you, gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
So when he went to Carlisle, they seen this in him. And there's 2 theories behind it, and I really don't believe the one. The first theory is they seen it in him and they wanted to help him get through it, so they put him in an outplacement system that they had. The other theory is he was screwing up pretty bad and he wasn't really involved. He wasn't engaged. He wasn't doing the stuff he was supposed to do. Yeah. And so they said, you know, we're going to put you in the outplacement system since you're not doing much. So I think the latter, not actually sure now that I think about it, because his grades, if you go through his grades, they were actually good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have just been like a little hate thing, or he just wasn't, you know, doing athletics for them.
You know, he could have just lost his shit and been angry and lashing out, losing everybody. And
which we know alcohol was an issue for him.
Yeah.
So the outplacement system was not good.
No.
It was terrible. So basically that was for Indians that didn't want to cooperate, or they couldn't see any potential in, or they didn't have any athletic abilities.
I did read about that.
Yeah.
He went back a little bit.
Yeah, he went backwards. And they would put him in this, and I think he was 16 when he started there. They'd put him in this, and what it was they would put you in a white family's home, and then you did like agriculture or some sort of work for them.
You were their bitch.
You were their bitch. You were an indentured servant.
Yeah. You're pretty much slaved out, but called something else.
And the really disgusting part was, okay, there's 2 disgusting parts. First was you were treated like a slave. He was for 2 of the homes for sure. One of them he said he actually liked. But for 2 of the 3 homes he had to do over the next 3 years, he was basically treated like a slave. Couldn't eat with the family, had to do all the work, had to do all the chores. It was living hell for him. He hated it. And this was in Somersville, PA, and 2 other different locations. I think one was Maryland or something like that.
Which one did he like? You know?
I think the Somersville one was the one he liked.
Don't those old Pennsyltuckians.
Pennsylvania for the win.
Yeah. So he was treated like shit there. Lost all of his family. And he decided he was going to go home. He got homesick at that point. Oh no, I forgot. Oh my gosh, they're going to kill me. So the other disgusting part was, I said there was 2 parts. I mentioned one.
What's the second one?
So the second one was, while they were at this family's home, the school would get money from the government for it.
Oh, wonderful.
And they didn't have to pay for shit.
Wow.
How disgusting is that?
Wonderful.
Playing the system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Abuse.
Yeah.
Well, it's just crazy thinking about a lot of the things that he had to overcome because, you know, it's the same thing. So when we spoke with Dan, right, and he had his opportunity with the union, you know, and it was like so close. Like if it would have been a couple days sooner, if he would have got that a couple days sooner, he would have never become a landscaper. We wouldn't be sitting here right now, you know. So like it's crazy how like if he would have strayed from his path even a little bit, he wouldn't have been the man that everybody like knows today, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dang. Right on the head there, man. So anyways, after those 3 years of doing that, he actually started applying himself and everything. And he would join an intramural football team. You know, he did love, he loved football from a young age. And it wasn't the school's team, which at the time was run by legendary Pop Warner. Pretty dope. So he wouldn't join that team. He was just doing the intramural one. One day while he was walking to his game, he was watching the high jumpers, right, for track and field. They would raise the bar an inch, and they'd raise the bar another inch, jump it.
Yep.
They got to 5'8", and everybody, a lot of the kids were able to jump it. And then it got to 5'9", and nobody could do it.
Yeah.
So Jim goes, "Hey, you guys mind if I give this a try?" And these varsity athletes laughed. And I said, "Sure, go ahead." He jumped it in overalls and basic regular sneakers. Well, what they considered sneakers back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Nowadays, we'd be like, "What are those?"
That looks like a leaf.
What are those?
A leaf. Although we do wear Crocs, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Pop them puppies in a 4-wheel, man, and take off.
So what was cool is then after he jumped what none of the other students could do, he laughed and then went and played his football game.
Wow.
It's pretty badass,
actually. That's funny.
Laughing at their best athletes.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're all dressed up in their fancy suits and special shoes, and there he is in overalls and basic shoes. Coming out with Reebok pumps. Do you know about Reebok pumps? I barely remember that. No.
Shit, I'm old.
Jesus.
I do. I remember them.
Is that where you could pump up the bottom of the shoe or something?
Pumps up the tongue.
Yeah.
Oh,
the tongue. Yeah.
Sorry, I got sidetracked.
I forgot about those shoes, dude.
I remember. I think I had a pair of them.
Did you really?
I'm pretty sure I had a pair of them. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
We were broke. My family was broke, you know.
So were we.
So I didn't get Reeboks. I got Voits.
Voits.
VOIT. The Voit. Still kick some ass in basketball, though. It's not the shoes. Even though NBA Jam says it is, it's not.
Yeah.
Definitely not the shoes.
No.
It's
I throw on my light up Skechers and, you know.
You're light up
Skechers were like,
I'll race everybody.
Skechers were like 15 years after me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Light up
Skechers. I felt so cool.
So anyway, is that how he got in the track and field then?
So it's a funny story. He was a pretty humble dude, but he also had a bit of a wild side to him.
Yeah.
After the game, the next day, Coach Pop Warner said, "You need to come into my office." So Jim goes in there and he goes, Pop Warner says to Jim, he goes, "You know what you did?" And Jim goes, "Hopefully nothing wrong."
Yeah.
Because his nickname was, was it Tibbling or Fibbling or something like that, which meant horse around. He was a kind of goofy guy.
Goofy
yeah, he had fun.
Yeah.
He had fun. And he played intramural for the fun of it. He loved the game.
Just the joy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. So he goes, "You just broke the school's record in high jump."
Wow.
He didn't even know it.
He didn't even know it. So Jim's response was, "If I had a tracksuit, I could jump higher."
No way.
Wow.
What a legend.
Wow.
That was smart.
Wow. So what did Pop Warner do then?
Put him right on the track team.
On the track team.
Right on
Awesome.
there. That's where he went. But Jim's true passion wasn't track and field.
No, it was football.
Football.
Yeah.
That's what his true passion was.
Yeah.
So he went to Pop Warner, begged and begged and begged for a position on the varsity football team.
Yeah.
Pop, no. He goes, "Okay, how about kicker?" Now, Jim knew football.
Yeah.
He said, "No, I'm not a kicker. I want to play."
Yeah.
You know. So
Give me some kind of position.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing against kickers.
No, because it was a good position.
A lot of stress on them. But
yeah. A lot of points given too. They rack up points.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Especially in fantasy.
Nice. Yeah, so he would then go back to Pop, beg again. Pop got tired of it. So first of all, this was his track star. He did not want to lose that. Just broke a record in overalls and basic shoes.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? He didn't want to lose that. But he got tired of Jim constantly asking for position. So he made him a tackling dummy in practice.
Made him a tackling
Oh
dummy.
my goodness.
Yeah. So he basically said, "Knock him out." And nobody could.
Wow.
Nobody could.
He ran around everybody. He ran circles around them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He slipped them. He slided them, joked them. Nobody, I mean, they did get him, but for the most part, nobody could touch him.
Yeah.
Right.
So Pops Warner's wheels were spinning at that point, but not enough because although he would put him on the team, he pretty much rode the bench the first year he played.
Yeah.
Which, you know, hey, that is
Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. So
Jordan's story is pretty epic too.
Yeah.
We should do one.
Podcast idea.
We should do that.
Yeah.
We should do a Jordan.
We should do a Jordan one.
I remember wearing a matching set. Matching set where it was shorts.
Yep.
And a t-shirt, and it was red and black, checkered some shit, some bulls all over it. I was like, shit, when I was in school. I was like, yeah, bulls. You know what I mean? I was like in 5th grade or something.
Oh, man. I can remember doing that up to about 16 years old.
Yep.
I'm old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Older.
I met you playing basketball.
I love basketball.
Yeah.
That's another story for
I
another time.
I'm good with any sport that has a ball, but basketball. It's the only one I can't. I suck at it. I'm not good.
You're pretty good, though.
So how did he get off the bench?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The next year, he was able to play a little bit.
I'm actually intrigued really bad by
Yeah, me
this.
too. So am I.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next year, he was able to actually play.
Yeah.
And he got benched for a different reason this time.
Horsing around.
No.
Oh.
Drinking.
Scoring too much.
Scoring too much.
Scoring too much. In fact, he got benched at one game because the score was 53-0, and Pop Warner felt bad.
Oh, no.
So he had to take Jim off the field.
Wow. Holy cow.
Absolute legend living for his purpose.
Wow.
Definitely making his dad proud, I'm sure, with showing what the Indians can do. Huh?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And after that, though, he did get a bit homesick.
What's I don't understand what's there to go home to. Maybe your 9 siblings, but what home is there to go get sick?
Was he close with his other siblings?
Friends and stuff? Or?
He had the Indians with him, his whole tribe.
Okay.
The Sac and Fox were still a sovereign entity.
Gotcha.
They were given land, although not their land. They were given land and they were kind of sovereign. So he did have his tribe.
Gotcha.
He really
understandable.
did.
Yep.
And
Makes
not
sense,
to mention the tribe of his family, like you said.
Right.
9 siblings is insane.
Yeah. I mean, that 11th one should have just walked out by that time.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He died, Frank.
Smoking a ciggy. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Twirling a cane.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Rolled on out of there.
But
yeah, so at this point, he would go back home. He was homesick. Went back home. He stayed there at the farm for a bit, and then he started working on a semi-pro baseball team. Which that was really something he loved. He loved baseball. He really did. I think he might have actually loved it just as much as football.
Yeah. Oh.
He really did because he made a go of it. He really tried.
Baseball, my favorite sport. Which, getting off topic a little bit. Did you see the Phillies won last night? They won. 3-2 in the series in the NLCS. Let's go.
Yeah, nice, dude.
Yeah, one more. All right.
I was drinking tequila shots. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't party much.
One more win to go to the World Series.
I was playing sorry with my kids.
I was playing sorry with myself.
Yeah.
I was just feeling sorry about myself.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God. That's another topic.
Right.
Time to get some of those probiotics in you.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing though.
Yeah.
Hearing about all the adversity that he went through, what am I complaining about?
Anybody,
bro.
What's anybody complaining about?
Bro, seriously. Yeah. So he would do that and he would get paid like $15 a week. That was just basically covering his food.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he really wasn't getting paid.
Right.
He really wasn't. It was shit money to him, really.
Yeah.
So he would do that for a while, and Pop Warner would start realizing he's missing his star in football.
Yeah.
Because he took off time they thought he was just taking the summer off, but no, he was taking way more time. He was trying to pursue professional career in baseball,
Yeah.
but he only ended up in semi-pro. So it's as far as he got.
Right.
And then a mentor of his for the track and field, he had, they would like mentor him and stuff. So he had a mentor assigned to him in track and field, and he ran into him and he said, "What are you doing here? You need to get back to Carlisle. I need you to play some football." So the mentor went and told Pop Warner. Pop Warner came down and he said, "Hey, you need to get back up here. Come on up here. I'm going to give you not only your spot in football, I'm going to give you a shot at the Olympics."
Wow.
Ooh. Now, I mean, back then, okay, something interesting. So when Jim Thorpe competed, it was only the 5th Olympics.
Wow.
Think about
Current Olympics, like the version that we all know.
Yeah.
Before that, it was different in Greek times and stuff like that. But the version we know was only the 5th one ever.
Right.
So there'd only been 4 previously. So it wasn't probably as well known,
but
it was definitely huge at the time. So that persuaded him. He came back. Of course.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
it's a fame and glory.
Oh, for sure. And at this point, it would be 1911, I believe, when he came back. Anyways, no, it'd be 1908 to 09. And then he would go again in 11. Anyways, he went back. He kicked some ass. And in his 1912, that's the big year for him.
1912.
Yeah.
Just for all you young guys, it's not 2012.
I don't think many people...
I don't think they understand.
I don't think most people know who Jim Thorpe even is.
They probably don't.
We know because there's a place called Jim Thorpe near us.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't think many people know who he actually is.
No, I don't think so either. I think they just know the place.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they
have a train there.
Yeah.
and they have a really nice place to hike.
Yeah.
If you
drive down through the mountains.
I don't know if you could do it anymore, though.
I think they open it back up. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
You're
sad.
talking about Glenelco?
Yeah, Glen.
Yeah.
No.
Is that Glenelco there?
Is that what it's called?
I think it's Glenelco.
The waterfall trail.
Yeah. I thought it was
Wait, there's 2 waterfall trails there, actually.
Yeah, there's one, a hard one on the right, and then one you're in.
Yeah, there's the hard one and the easy one.
Yeah.
Hard one was fun. I did it twice.
That's in Jim Thorpe?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so fun.
Yeah,
Why did I think that was further north?
Dude, it's so fun.
I don't know. It is fun, but it's not fun when you have gout. I had gout. I didn't know I had gout in my spine that time. I was like, why is my back hurting? This is miserable. I was not a fun time. I didn't even know I had gout that time. I was just struggling through it. Like, oh, my back hurts. I must have pulled it different or something, doing a dead or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, it was gout, bro. That's why you were in misery. It was miserable.
Oh, that's terrible because it's a beautiful trail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an easy trail. This is not for kids.
No, especially the right. If you go to hard path, hard path is pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. You're right next to waterfalls, rivers, cliff edges.
Yeah.
And I talked to, so when I was leaving there, or no, when I was first getting there my second time, there was helicopters, ambulances, police, all over the place.
Somebody dip.
Yeah, so I said, what happened? He's like, somebody fell off the cliff face. And I was like, oh, so that's pretty serious. Like, how often you guys come out here? She's like, oh, we're out here about once, twice a week.
Yeah.
Which is why they closed it off for a while.
Yeah.
But my cousin just went up there 2 years ago. So I think it's back open again.
Wow.
We're trying to go there. My daughter.
I'd like to.
My 2-year-old loves trains. So we're trying to get on a train. Did you know there's a train ride from Pottsville to Jim Thorpe?
What?
It's like a 6-hour day or some shit. It leaves from Pottsville and goes all the way to Jim Thorpe.
When?
It's on Sundays or some shit or something.
Where?
Somebody was telling me about it. You gotta Google it. I don't know. I didn't Google it yet.
I'm going to Google it.
That's dope. Dude, the kids would love that.
Yeah.
6-hour day, though.
6-hour day. Yeah.
That's not even terrible, though.
You go up there and you walk around and stuff. You get back on the train, come home.
We spend more time doing podcasts.
It's pretty badass.
It's because it's annoying to park up there.
Yeah. No,
it
it's miserable to park up there. But everybody likes it up there. It's beautiful.
Oh, it is
and
gorgeous.
it's you know what? Being named after the man, I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
Because he persevered a lot. I mean, you're gonna get into more stuff. It's not over yet. I mean,
no, we're nowhere near.
We have ups and downs yet. So he's been through a lot. And for that place to be as beautiful as it is after this story just makes it more sweet to me.
Yeah, it really
and I want to go there even more now.
Yeah, I think we go there about once a year.
That's what we try.
It's a nice trip. It's a beautiful place, whether it's hiking or the town.
The food we went to an Irish place that wasn't bad. Now we never got into that prison.
Oh,
Where the hand is? Do you know about the hand?
Yes. I am so excited to talk about that. That is some wild
I actually
shit. That's
don't
coming
know
up
what you're
in our
talking about.
Molly McGuire's episode.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's what that relates to.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, we won't spoil that now then.
No.
I'm excited about the Molly McGuire's episode.
You are.
Yes.
So, all right,
gonna be good.
let's move on to some more highs and lows. I keep distracting you.
All right. Yeah, let's get to his good year, 1912, when a lot of epicness happened. So in 1912, that's when he was going to the Olympics, but he would also have a pretty big football game. Now we remember what his dad said, show him what the Indians can do. And his football team was doing amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was Pop Warner and his Indians. Now the media portrayed this disgustingly. You know,
Of course.
They treated Indians as
not the media.
lazy and untamed and wild.
And now they're coming in and wiping up the white man.
Yeah.
That goes against their rhetoric.
Literally what they did.
Yeah.
And there was a big game against the Military Academy of West Point. Now, just take a second and think for what I'm about to say from Pop Warner. Pop Warner came into the locker room and he said to them, now remember, these are all Indians that Pop Warner is leading at this point. Said to them, I shouldn't have to tell you anything. Read your history books.
Oh.
Wow.
Like, how legendary is that?
Wow. Now go out there and fucking show them.
Oh.
Yeah, because think about it. Their grandfathers killed your grandfathers.
Yeah.
Right.
And on top of that, Jim's dad was pushing for him to really show what an Indian can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, he went out. He showed his ass.
On top of all this, there was somebody famous in the game. President Dwight D. Eisenhower played football for them, for the military academy.
Right. So hold on. Jim Thorpe played against
him?
Yeah.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Oh, it gets even better than that. It gets better. It gets better.
Dude,
So
you got goosebumps.
I do got goosebumps.
Dude.
My feet are cold.
not only did he play
I thought it was from
the story. Yeah, we're not a shoeless people here. Not at all.
Don't be a wuss, Frank. Do you hear the shit that he had to endure?
I'm only saying it because you say your people. Whatever, dick.
But no, not only did he play against Dwight D. Eisenhower, Jim Thorpe was already known in the media for being a good football star.
Right.
So Eisenhower said to some of his teammates, let's knock him on his ass and knock him out of the game.
Yeah, take him out.
Yeah. Now, that's not verbatim, by the way.
Yeah.
But that was the essence of
Pop
it.
Warner said the same thing to his team when they didn't want him to play for him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was probably the same results.
Yeah. So in that, he did knock Jim down. He did.
He did?
Eisenhower did?
Yeah.
Eisenhower did.
I
Or
don't
just
know if
the
it was
team?
Eisenhower. I think it was Eisenhower. Yes, it was. Eisenhower did get a good hit on him, but he popped back up. Right.
Yeah.
So this game meant a lot to him. It wasn't, and this was before pads.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
goofy pads.
Maxi pads on your shoulders.
Yeah, basically.
And it didn't have wings.
Oh,
Yeah.
They took a bunch of deer hide and just threw it on their
Is that what they
shoulders.
did?
Something like that.
Because they're
I have
Indians.
no
Get it?
clue. Yeah, I do.
All right.
No,
Thanks.
Wow.
Smart.
We're
A
gonna
leaf.
make
It's
fun
just a
of
leaf.
Just a leaf.
We're gonna make fun of a total good
I wasn't
legacy.
making fun of him.
I wonder what they
Probably
were wearing. I
was.
mean, I seen videos of them like having like half helmets and shit
Yeah.
back then and stuff.
Oh,
And like
yeah.
barely any pads and stuff. So who knows?
It was like leather condoms for their
Yeah.
Pretty much. I do remember. It's just like a leather helmet,
Yeah.
like little holes in the
Yeah.
ears or whatever.
Yeah.
That was about it.
No face mask
Yeah,
or nothing
nothing,
like
nothing,
that.
nothing. No, just suck it up and
Mhm.
endure the suck. Yeah,
Brutal.
yeah.
Absolutely brutal. But yeah, so after that though, Eisenhower and another teammate decided they were going to go high-low on him,
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
Really
knock
mad.
his lights out.
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe just went off to the side, and Eisenhower got taken out of the game.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
By his own teammate.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, pretty epic. Their whole plan was
Wow.
to take him out.
And they took yourself
And he
out.
ended up
Wow.
making them take themselves out.
They need
I'll
to make a
teach you.
badass movie about this. That's what they need.
They should.
They actually did.
They did make a movie about
It
Jim
wasn't that great because unfortunately later on in life, he had a lot of struggles. He sold his rights to his story.
No. Boy,
So they had
no.
They had Burt Lancaster, a
That's
white
about
guy.
as sad as like Bob Ross to
Play
me. That's like
Thorpe. White guy
Yeah.
played a Native American.
Yeah, it was actually pretty. I mean,
I mean,
Why are we doing this?
well, no, we're doing it different now.
What do you you mean Disney's? Never mind.
It's different now.
I mean, so there are some good aspects to that because Disney, I mean, what is it? Marvel, when they switched out some of the guys, who was that Guardian guy? Guardian of the Thor's place.
Oh,
he was traditionally white.
Was he?
Yeah. But they put, who was it? Idris Elba or whoever.
Yeah, but I don't even notice that. I don't even notice.
You know,
I don't even
good.
notice that. It's the things that are factually bullshit to me that I notice. So, for instance, an African American Ariel. How the fuck is that possible?
Right.
That, and it wasn't even a good actor.
No, I mean nothing against. I love my black people and my daughters. You know, my daughter's of color. It's not like I'm racist by any means, even though I have a bald head.
The point is, they're trying too hard. They're trying too hard.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like the media is trying too hard with everything.
Why do you have to
put it out
change?
there?
Why do you have to? If it isn't broke, don't fix it. Why do you have to change it? Why would you want to? Like, I would almost take that as an insult. Like that you're trying to push like my heritage or my culture into their stories. You know what I mean? Like, make a story for me.
Well, I think part of that is they don't believe we have a culture as white people.
Yeah.
They really
we don't supposedly. Exactly.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, if I was African American and they were trying to push an African into a white person's like story, you know, like I would almost be like, why don't you just make me a story? You know?
Yeah.
Why can't I get my own story? Why do I have to take over somebody else, like a white person's story?
Yeah.
You know,
I agree there. And they do have a lot of stories and stuff. Disney really has been changing it up.
They're trying to.
New stuff
well, I mean, they are trying.
That one, they got rid of that one wackadoo lady.
Oh, did they get rid of her?
I thought they got rid of her, and the other guy, the guy that was out stepped back in.
Really? Because I knew that lady was like, I'm gonna put as much in as I possibly can. I'm like,
she was like, my kid's queer. I'm gonna do all of this. Like, why? Why do you have to put an agenda in it? Just be a jester and give us entertainment.
Dude,
shut the fuck up.
Somebody ran the numbers on her kids because one's pan and the other one's trans, I think, or something like that. Yeah. They ran the numbers and they said it's almost impossible for her to have both of those as her kids. That she was kind of being
probably pushed it.
Yeah, she was being, what is that called? Jordan Peterson did it. The consuming mom, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a good thing for a mom to be.
Dude, I see TikToks of some little boy saying, "Oh, my mom wants me to do this. I do this for my mom," and the mother was like trying to backtrack it, like, "No, don't think so." Yeah. It's a new form of empowerment.
Just let the kids be a kid. Let them be kids.
Like, exactly, and that's how the government should have been with Jim Thorpe and the Indians. And I can't believe that they actually I thought it was. I didn't think it went in that. I mean, I just don't know history, so I was never really a history buff. I thought it was just all right, scalping, war, done.
Yeah, no,
that's how I thought it was. Scalping, war, being a piece of shit. It's over with. Done now. I didn't think it was. Oh well, not only did the war happen, but then we also absorbed everybody, tried to conform everybody, and treated everybody like garbage and slaves at that point in time.
Yeah, well, before studying this, like I knew a good bit about Jim Thorpe before this, but I went more in depth for this episode.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a Black Hawk War for the Indians versus the government.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I mean, know that and there was a massacre, unfortunately, and they were just trying to get their land back that they were living in. That's all it was.
Yeah. I mean, I always knew, like, with a little bit of history and stuff that they taught me in high school and stuff. Like, I knew we were not good to the Indians.
Yeah.
I knew bad things. The white men were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
But I mean, I know, and all the good things that they brought to us, like maize and everything like that. Like, I do know how it was, but unfortunately, a lot of history is just evilness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And power and greed.
Yeah.
We're kind of seeing that.
Struggle for power.
Kind of seeing that today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of the same situation then and now. Not obviously as dramatic, but we're still held down.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just in different ways that's less obvious to us now.
So what happened with the, so after Eisenhower got knocked out, did he just wallop the rest of the freaking group and that's it? What was the score? Do you know the score?
I have the score here.
So many questions.
Right. Like
you don't have it, no big deal. I just
no, Google. It was like 27-6, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that's what it was. They spanked them.
It was a good win. Yeah, it was a good win.
But you're thinking about that though. This is now an Indian running over your best military.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's pronounced.
It's your best and brightest.
That's West Point people. Like they're best, brightest.
Yep.
Tippy top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this dude is just like, oh, you're hurt. See ya. Dip. Bye. Later.
Yeah. Now watch me run over the rest of your team.
Yeah. And Eisenhower would later go on to say he was like one of the greatest people. Or no, some men are just well endowed. And he was referring to Jim Thorpe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I feel like that'd be a better compliment.
It was about football, but still.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah,
Take it how you want
interesting. So anyways, leading up to the 1912 Olympics, Jim Thorpe would actually be so good he would get All-American twice.
Wow.
Which is pretty freaking epic. Like, and the media was not nice to him in that
or would they be?
West Point game. They were,
yeah, I'm sure.
you know, Jim
the media? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the Indians and their wild, you know, whatever.
You're gonna tell me they're not upstanding citizens that are gonna, you know, portray an Indian like a civilized man, like a nice person? No.
Definitely not.
I don't believe it. I
think we just consider them, I think the white man just considered them savages. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Consider them savages. So we wanted to make them not savage and more like the white man. And that's just fucked up.
I mean, they did do their share though. They did.
I'm sure they did.
It wasn't as nowhere near what the media portrayed.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You know, just assigning these ideologies to this one group.
The media did that?
The media?
You guys are talking very bad about the media. I, for one, love the media. And I think they're great. So please don't cancel us.
We think we need to have a podcast about the media.
Yes.
And our thoughts on the media, because I have a lot of thoughts on the media.
That's on the list for sure.
Yeah. Cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut that out, but we got the media. But,
yeah. So, anyways.
So what happened after he got the
All-American
twice?
Yeah, which is pretty epic.
That's a feat.
Was that
all of its own?
It really is.
And was that after the Olympics?
I don't know if it was after and before. I know for sure it was before.
Because what did he get? He got in the, what did I put here? I put he won gold medals on the pentathlon and the decathlon.
Yep.
Which, if you don't know what they are,
I don't know.
There's a lot.
I know what I don't know what a pentathlon is.
I'll break them down for you, and even what he scored, because it's pretty freaking epic.
5 events, right?
Yeah. So he would get ready for the.
Pent means 5. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get ready for it, but he didn't really know what all the events were and how to do them all.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. Just
right
off the bat.
I don't
he knew how to do
he
knew how to do the high jump. He knew how to do the running and stuff, but he really didn't know much about like the other stuff, like javelin and discus and stuff.
Right.
That's all in the pentathlon?
Pentathlon and decathlon has
javelin. I don't know anything. I only know about triathlon then, which is just running, biking, and swimming, right?
Yeah.
That's all I know about. That's all I know.
Yeah. Well, I only learned through this. So
hey, man,
I'm guilty as well.
That's the part of this podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So again, the media attacked him again. He was on the cruise ship going over there, and they were saying, "Oh, lazy Indian isn't working. He's not practicing, and he's not doing his stuff." When actually he really was practicing on the ship with the others.
Right.
It's just, you know how like before you have a sporting event or something, you don't work out right before.
No, you got to let your body be, ready to go and fully recovered from the workout you did.
Exactly.
Prepare. Yeah.
That's what everybody was doing.
Yeah.
Football is the same way. Like you do, you'll have 2 hard practices throughout the week, and then you do like a walkthrough, right?
Yep.
On a Friday, and you take Saturday off, and then you have your game Sunday.
Big spaghetti meal. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Not to mention, in the beginning, Carlisle didn't even have a football field. So their schedule was going to other schools to play constantly, which was kind of grueling for them.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they relied on ticket sales and stuff to make them money.
Oh, wow.
So it was important they would go back to back. So they didn't have the rest that the other schools did.
Right.
I thought was pretty interesting too. So he did have more of a severe start, which I think helped him ultimately.
Windy out there.
Really is. I don't think it picked it up on the mics.
Made
But
my
it's
feet
super
cold.
windy.
Oh, no, right. You guys couldn't hear it. Made my feet cold.
Made my feet cold. Oh boy, Frank.
Just keep little quips in there when I can.
Right. Yeah.
Swear to God, you're a Viking. And your fucking feet are cold.
No, I'm saying that because of the joke.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm wearing leather shoes now.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't help at all.
Nah.
The media? What?
But yeah, he would then compete in the pentathlon first.
Mhm.
That's where he first started, and everything was going good. And the pentathlon consists of 5 things, obviously. Broad jump, 200-meter dash, discus throw, 1,000-meter run, and the javelin throw. That's 5. Wow. So the only thing he really wasn't good at was the javelin throw, which is pretty amazing because when he went to go do because you have to qualify.
Yeah.
You have to actually be good enough to compete.
Right.
Just because you get there doesn't mean you're going to play.
Yeah.
You have to be good enough.
Yeah.
So he would go to his qualifying round for javelin, never doing it before. And with javelin, you ever watch it? You have to run and you throw and you stop.
Yeah.
Right? He had no idea. He just sat there and kind of jumped up and down and threw the javelin and qualified without any momentum.
Wow.
Well, he's an Indian. They throw spears. And, so
It's true.
it's true. And they got to kill like deer, So yeah. So he already had a little bit of experience.
He did.
He saw a deer on the field and he said, "I'm hitting that."
I hope they don't jump up and down and shit before they throw out a spear, though, because the deer will definitely see that. Like,
nah. What the fuck are you doing? Well, maybe not. Maybe they'd be like a deer in the headlights. Like, what's that guy doing?
As soon as you jump on, see you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, anyways, with this pentathlon, when it actually started, the only event he wouldn't place first in was javelin.
Really?
He placed first in all the others.
What did he get on javelin then? Second?
So, javelin, he got 3rd.
Wow.
Which is still
pretty awesome.
epic.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
In the
So
Olympics.
in the scoring of the pentathlon, it's like golf. The lower the number, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. So for every place you get is the number kind of you get.
Yeah.
So his score was 7. And to give you an idea, second place score was 21.
Wow.
That's how bad he beat
He
these
annihilated
Wow.
everybody.
Miles ahead.
Wow.
Miles.
Wow.
That's what an Indian can do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd be like, check him for steroids.
Seriously.
He's doping, I swear.
Well, yeah, they were accused of a lot of stuff.
I'm
like
sure.
that. Yeah. But not that, but getting older students, professional athletes, things like that. They were accused of it because they did compete so well.
Yeah.
But then the second event, now he would do some events in between there, but he was saving his energy for the decathlon, which is what he really wanted to do. So he just kind of screwed around in between. The decathlon is pretty intense and spread out over several days. Spread out over 3 different days. The first day was a terrible, rainy, and a bad weather day. And he was doing this for the love of it. He wasn't really doing it because, he was getting paid or anything. He just really loved the stuff. And so he didn't really do well in poor weather.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate as to if that's why or if there's other reasons why he didn't do good in poor weather. But in the first day, they had 100-meter dash, running broad jump, the shot put, and he didn't do that well on the first day. Now, the shot put, he did really good. He could throw things.
Yeah.
Right? He seemed to have a knack for throwing stuff.
Yeah.
Because he would get 2 feet further than anybody else on that day, which is pretty freaking epic.
Yeah.
And it was at this point where the epic story happens. The second day, he would go in and go to get ready, and his shoes were missing. Now, there's lots of theories on why it happened, but logically,
somebody just took his shoes.
Somebody did not want him to have the advantage.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, minutes before he was about to go run, him and Pop Warner would scramble around trying to find a pair of shoes. Somebody gave him one shoe that was their extra, that was too small. So he had to kind of jam his foot down into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went and jumped in the trash and found another shoe in the trash.
It was too big.
So what he did is he put a second sock on to fill in that shoe. So there he is, mismatched, different size shoes.
Wow.
Now, you guys run, right?
Yep.
No.
I do.
Oh, you don't run?
Oh, I look like I run? No,
All right, you go to the gym.
I do go to the gym, yeah.
When you don't have like good shoes or something like that, doesn't it kind of mess with your head?
Yeah.
It really does. I know it messes with me when I go running. I don't
Especially
have
if
good
I cram
shoes.
my foot into a small shoe. That would probably mess with my head the whole time. It's
Right?
probably uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah. But here he is in the Olympics using that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After all the racist media at home putting him down, and now his shoes are gone. You know, that's pretty messed up.
It's pretty shitty. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And at this point, we had, what would he have? Running high jump, the 400-meter run, 100-meter hurdles. And on this day, with mismatched shoes, he would place first in running high jump, second in 400-meter run, and first in 100-meter hurdles.
Wow.
He jumped, what was it, 6 foot 5 inches in the high jump?
Yeah, I believe you have that number
6
right.
foot 5 inches. He
Jumped me.
jumped.
He jumped me. I'm 6'5".
He jumped you with mismatched shoes.
Wow.
With mismatched shoes, he jumped 6 foot 5.
That's crazy.
8.
That's absolutely crazy.
I mean, he had a clown shoe on and a girl's shoe.
Goodness.
And most of the people in the Olympics couldn't do that with. They couldn't do with 2 matching shoes that fit them right.
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 So,
Right. I mean,
Yep.
some of us just to even work out would get thrown off by that and be like, fuck it, I'm not going.
right.
I'm going to get food.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But here he is. I mean, pretty epic. So day 3 still has the mismatched shoes. And on this one, he has the discus, which we already know he's good at throwing stuff. So
Yep.
he nails that.
Yep.
Oh, no, wait. Actually, discus, I don't have a record on that. Anyways, he does the pole vault. He gets third, javelin. Still struggling, but he's actually starting to get the form down at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You got second?
He got fourth.
You got fourth.
Yeah, not the best. And the 1,500-meter run, still in the mismatched shoes, first.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually pretty epic.
Wow.
How did he do in the pole vaulting?
Pole vault, he got third.
Third in pole
Wow.
vault.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good.
Damn, that's not bad
I
at all.
mean, he's in top 4 in everything.
Yep.
That's
Like, that's
crazy.
wild.
That's wild.
In everything. So his score, so this is scored opposite of pentathlon.
The higher number, better.
Higher number better. Out of a possible 10,000, he scored 8,412. Pretty good,
Not
right?
bad, yep.
Second place was 7,724. That's 688 points separating them, which is humongous
That's a big point.
Yeah.
in that sport,
Yeah.
in that event. And his score would be the record until 1932.
Wow, he held it for 20 years.
Imagine
Yeah.
what he would have had if he
And
had those shoes that matched, though. He'd probably have it longer because I don't think the dude that beat him in. He
Yeah,
probably
that's what
got
I'm
longer.
thinking. Yeah.
Right?
He probably held on longer.
Yeah, he probably would have had better numbers too and
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Yep.
mind would have been in a better place.
Yep.
Yep.
Because he knows it's screwed with his
Oh,
mind.
I would be fucking.
It would have
angry.
had to, but
I would be so angry. I would want to smash people.
So driven.
No, I
It
just.
didn't
and then to
matter.
perform
He's
at
driven to
that
smash
level, that's incredible.
I mean, my God, what an absolute animal. On top of that, he also has still to this day, the record of being the only person ever to win the decathlon and the pentathlon at the same Olympic event.
Wow.
Still holds that record to
I don't
this
think
day.
anybody's gonna.
Nobody's ever going to beat that.
I mean, how could you? Like, you'd have to.
No, everyone
No.
has a specific thing that they're good at now.
Yeah,
Nobody just does everything. Like,
Right.
or, you know?
right. I mean, how wild is that? It doesn't help that.
You-
I mean, at one point in time, we had professional athletes playing football and baseball. You know,
Yeah.
like Bo Jackson, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Bo
Right?
Jackson.
Who
There was
else?
another one too.
Sanders? No, there was a.
Didn't
there was
Michael
a-
Jordan play both?
Yeah, he
He
played
did
baseball,
semi.
but he wasn't.
Oh,
He
he's
only got
semi,
semi
not
pro.
good.
Yeah, he didn't get
Oh,
all the way
who's
up either.
who's the running back that was on Cowboys that played both, and he was good on both.
Who,
Oh man, there was two.
Yeah,
There
I
was
don't,
two.
I don't know who it was.
I wonder if
but,
there's more than two. There is.
I don't know, but I mean, that's the closest I think we get to it now is a professional that plays two professional sports at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't think I see anybody doing. I mean, now the big thing is triathlons.
Yeah, triathlons is the big thing.
Is the big thing now.
Yeah,
which is not close to.
Yeah, well, the reason is I believe they took away these two out of the Olympics.
Did they?
One of them. They took one or two.
Okay.
They definitely took one of them out.
I mean, I didn't know much of them, so I mean, I do follow the Olympics when it comes around.
Yeah, well, I mean,
not the Winter Olympics though. Wait, which one do I follow? I don't follow one of them. I forget.
Probably the Winter. Herschel Walker.
There's another one.
There we go. Yeah, I would not have gotten that, but yeah.
I'm thinking it's Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
I think it's Deion Sanders. Let me look.
Deion Sanders didn't play baseball, did he?
I thought he did.
He's doing the coaching for a college team right now.
See?
Yeah. Yeah. He's actually trying to turn it around. He picked up a team that had one win. And one of the epic things Deion Sanders said about that. So he picked up a team that only had one win the previous season. He said, God wouldn't give me something easy.
I
mean, that's pretty
awesome.
You know what I mean?
Like that.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So he's trying to turn their program around. He's doing, as far as I know, he's doing okay. I haven't really been following it.
He did all right.
Deion Sanders was able to play both NFL and Major League Baseball over the span of 8 years.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God, I love him more now. Oh my God.
I knew he was one of them. I knew. Yeah. I think I saw something somewhere.
You guys see the commercial when he tried out for football again, but it was like a commercial. He changed his name to Leon Sandcastle. So he had like the best combine score and everything. That was funny. You guys ever saw that commercial?
No.
It was funny. Yeah, that was a good one.
I just remember I think it was Bo Johnson or Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson. And it was like, because there was commercials like, you know my grandmama? You remember that? You know my grandmama?
Yeah, I do remember.
Bo knows this, Bo knows that. So yeah. I remember those commercials and stuff like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm old.
Oh, jeez.
They were good. They were funny. I like them.
Yeah. But yeah, Deion actually was badass about both. Yeah, from the video and stuff that I saw.
You know, Bo Jackson was good, but I don't know if he was as good as Jim Thorpe, man.
Jim Thorpe.
No. And at the medal ceremony, the King of Sweden would even come up to him and say, "You're the greatest athlete of all time." When handing out, the King of Sweden personally came down and handed him his medals and trophies.
That's awesome.
King of Sweden.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now here comes racism's ugly face again. Media went and said Jim's response was, "Thanks, King."
Wow.
Which is kind of somewhat disrespectful, especially for back then. Nowadays, it might not sound so disrespectful, but it really still is even to this day. If you're talking
to
like,
well, thank you so much, Your Majesty.
Yeah, it should be something.
I'm obliged for you to say that to me or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he didn't like
elaborate.
He didn't like being a public figure, so he really wouldn't have done that anyway.
Yeah.
It was just the media.
Thanks, King.
Trying to turn it around on the Indian.
Yeah.
You know,
the media.
The media.
What? You're kidding.
Never.
I don't believe that.
Journalism is dead.
So, I mean, I don't know how, just even to this point, I don't know how you don't get fired up and motivated by this guy at this point. I mean,
he still has some lows though.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he faced adversities that would send most of you running back to your mama's basement with a face full of tears. But not only did he thrive in these situations, he had the courage to face them and get up every day and fight through them. And you mean to tell me you can't take 30 minutes to an hour to go work out? You can't fill out the paperwork for your job that you want to get?
Yeah.
You can't make the phone calls for your dream? I think it's time we need to start reevaluating Jim Thorpe's legacy as not just one of sports and Olympics and gold medals, but one of determination, of will, of courageousness.
Yeah.
And you have that within you too. We all do. But sometimes you got to squeeze into a tight shoe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to jump into a dumpster and find another shoe. And sometimes you're going to have to put an extra sock on to fill that shoe.
Got to endure the sock.
You do.
Prove a point.
Because it doesn't matter how or what you're wearing or doing. What matters is that you're doing it, that you're showing up, that you're facing the issues, that you have the courageousness. Because the medals of your life are really just waiting for you to get over your excuses.
Yep.
They really are.
And perseverance is where it's at. I mean, I don't know. You're probably going to get into this, but those titles were stripped from him. Those gold titles were stripped from him. They were reinstated eventually.
Yeah.
But even nonetheless, I mean, you have to persevere, and it will come. It will come through. Everything. Like I was supposed to go away for 25 years at one point in my life. You know what I mean? You persevere, you get through it, and you move forward, and just look back as a memory and something that you regret, or happy that it's over with. But you're now a much better person, and you take things that you took for granted previously, were more worth now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So resilience is what matters.
Yeah.
You got to be resilient and determined to move forward. And
I like what you said about, I like your little speech there, but I think one of the key points that I like the most, I think, is just excuses. You could have so much going wrong in your life. You could have if you need an excuse to not go to the gym, it's not going to be hard to find one.
Really not.
It's not. And your life, no matter where you are in your life, they don't give a shit about your excuses. They don't care about what you have going wrong. So you can either you could just lay down and not have a story, or you could quit bullshitting, quit making excuses, and go create a legacy like Jim Thorpe did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
And it's all about, like what we do in this podcast is about defining your purpose. So you just find your purpose. Like my purpose was to get a career, and now my purpose is to help others and to, have conversations and be enlightened and enlighten others and just try to help out. You could do whatever you want in this country. You can make money taking pictures of your butthole. Really, technically, you can. You could sell your bath water. You could do whatever you want. You can literally do whatever you want. I'm sorry, it's the truth of it all. Like
we're not
non-playable characters. Non-playable characters. What's that?
So we better not be getting back to these poop injections.
No poop injections. No,
drinking the dirty bathwater. You need poop injections to fix that.
Yeah,
that is true.
You might actually.
Yeah, that is true. But nonetheless, you just have to have the incentive or the drive and the determination to do it. And it's not going to be easy. You have to fail forward, like everybody says. So it's going to be tough. I mean, we've been doing this podcast now for quite a while, and we've had our struggles and speed bumps. And if people are actually watching us and watching as episodes go, you'll actually see our progression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a short amount of episodes. And I mean, from the first episode of me meeting you until now, I mean, it's pretty much night and day for me. I'm a lot more easy. It's just about resilience and determination. Yeah. Again, my reason for doing this is just because I have a career and I have stuff set up for myself already. I'd like to help others out. You know what I mean? And just because I feel like that'll give me a new drive and a new incentive. Plus, I also believe in karma. I know not everybody believes in karma, but I do, and I believe in forces in the world. And if you put out good karma and good forces, that you're going to get it back. Now, if you're negative and pessimistic and always constantly down and the glass is always half empty and stuff like that, then you're probably going to get that in return. I believe in those forces. So potentially, do I look at this as hopefully maybe something will come back around to me and be good? Yeah. But if it doesn't, I still feel good about helping somebody else. And like, if I ever have somebody say, oh, well, you talking about that resilience speech with that Jim Thorpe episode made me realize, like, I can do stuff. I don't have the hardships that these other people have had with the government crushing them as hard as they are now. I mean, the government crushes us, but not to the point where it's telling us what we can and can't do and how we can and cannot act. Well, I mean, laws, obviously, it can't be total anarchy, but nonetheless, if they can overcome stuff like that, then why can't we overcome stuff like that? And we could. It's the difference is that they were put in a situation that it was fight or flight, right? Or freeze, right? Like that one conversation.
There's now even two more.
Oh, I'm not even talking about. Let's not revisit that one. Nonetheless, we're all primal at one point in time. So if we get put in a position that it's like that, that is going to come out naturally. It's just that those people were put in those situations. Well, we're not. We're kind of catered. As humans in general, we're catered to.
Right.
Compared.
I think it's important. God,
our Roman Colosseum is in our house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're constantly distracted.
Yep.
I just think it's important for everybody to know that, like, they have, like, there's something great inside of them, and it's greater than any obstacle that you're ever going to face.
Ooh, beautiful.
So that's a message that I just want everybody to know.
Beautiful. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So also back to Jim Thorpe now. Now we got a little off track.
It happens. This podcast is just to be us bullshitting, having a good time, helping people out. Eventually, we're going to have podcasts where people are going to interact with us, and we'll be able to help them there. And then I'm not really going to deal with I'm all about the love and the help. So if we get somebody on the podcast and they're just being dicks, I'm just going to be like, yo, dude, you're against what we're trying to do here. We're trying to elevate people and be good. If you want to educate us on something that we said something wrong on the podcast, or educate us on something that we're unaware of that we didn't say in the podcast, by all means, love it. But if you're coming here just to trash us, oh, people are suck, blah, 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 get fucked, bro. We're here to help people.
Yeah.
We're here to make people feel good about themselves.
We're not here to make people feel worse about themselves. We're not here to make the society worse. We're here to elevate and escalate people, you know, in their lives. And that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Make people realize their self-worth.
Yep.
Make people realize that they're being played. Let them make them realize to have the incentive to look around them and see if they're being played and not allow them to be played from this point forward. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Jim Thorpe's, his story, I'm sure that's inspired and sparked a lot of, you know.
Well, I look at it this way. Like, I would like to talk to somebody that was born and raised from Jim Thorpe. Yes. And I want to know what they know about the man of their town, Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Because they renamed the town from him.
Yeah.
So my question is I would like to talk to an older gentleman, 50s, 60s, older even.
I think
I'd like to know
70s.
Yeah, I would like to know. Well, nonetheless, even still, I'd like to see
just to see what they know about his culture and heritage.
And even if we can, I mean, it would be cool to have like kind of a study to see, well, what are the other generational gaps? How much do they know? How much is being lost? I mean, I've learned so much about Jim Thorpe just from doing a little bit of research on this topic.
Yeah. Same.
So I'm wondering, like, how many people know this without doing the research from Jim Thorpe, and that's my worry, because a lot of stuff will be, you know, pushed out, especially stuff, and unfortunately, especially the stuff that gives people power. So, like, you have a story of a man that's overcoming government standards, overcoming government, beating the government, beating, you know, your academies, everything like that, and that should be an empowering story, especially to minorities.
Yeah.
But they're not empowering minorities like that with that story. They're not. They're pretty much saying, oh, the white man has you down. Pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, we need stories like this. We need stories like this to remain and move forward and give people, you know, passion. And when you have passion, you have drive. And that will ignite your drive. Every passion ignites your drive. Look at the passion of the Christ, right? And I'm joking. Anyways, I'm just saying, seriously, passion will give you incentive, and incentive will give you drive, and then that will give you endurance or ambition to move forward and do something about it.
Yeah. Stop being a victim.
Yeah. Yeah. You can sit there and complain all day, or you can do something about it. You can still complain, but do something about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, even down to the most minuscule thing. Wait. Oh, I need to do something. Oh, I need to do something. I hear that from people all the time. Oh, I'm overweight. Oh, I need to do something. Oh, I need to do something. I can't handle it. Oh, my knees. Oh, my back. Oh, blah, blah. Are you doing anything about it? I'm sitting here complaining about it. Well, are your complaints going to make it go away?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard that portrayed as mind masturbation. So it makes you feel good to talk about it.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like, oh, I'm getting somewhere because I said I'm going to do something. And it gives you that little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem, or the first part of the problem, is realizing there's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So kudos to them that they realize there's a problem, but you're not having any action behind it.
Right.
Like, it's like anything else. Like, if there's problems in the world and we have these problems and we don't do anything about it, the problems are going to be there or get worse. So you got to do something about the problem.
Yeah.
Can't just complain about it. Action. Find your drive. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. You, like, for me with my career, I found a side hobby that I loved, that I turned it into a career, and I love my job. I look forward to tomorrow going to work, logging in. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Find your drive and then ignite your drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
Find your drive and then ignite your drive.
Seriously, like, imagine being pushed down that bad. Like, I don't think I would be able to. I think Jim Thorpe is a better man than I am. Yeah, and I can say that because there's no way. I mean, I've been pushed down and pushed out, and I've had to have people help me realize what I had in front of me for me to move forward. And I appreciate those people, mentors and stuff like that. But there's no way I would be in his shoes, somebody telling me I cannot be me.
Yep.
I cannot do this. I cannot go with these people. I get the shit kicked out of me. If I do anything wrong, I get the shit kicked out of me again. If I talk back, I get the shit kicked out of me. How did he have the drive? How did he have that?
He did not. He could have easily just made excuses.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have easily.
I'm just an Indian.
Yeah. He could have made excuses I'm not where I want to be because of this person. I'm not where I want to be because of this person.
Yeah.
No, it was like it fueled his fire.
Yep.
Like that, you know, the thing that his dad
Challenge
said to him,
accepted.
you know, show him what we could do. You know, that ignited his drive. I think like he, you know, that's kind of where.
I don't think his dad, from the conversation they were having, I mean, I took his dad as like a mean man because he beats the shit out of him and stuff. So I don't feel he's going to have too many words of affirmation for him. I don't feel he's going to have too many words of encouragement for him, to the point where just a little bit of words of encouragement exploded him inside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So this was literally him on his own doing it. He had no, in my opinion, unless you read something or knew something that I don't know, he didn't really have like a crazy support system. So it's literally me on my own.
Yeah.
And the only support system I have is maybe my teammates, maybe my people when I go back, and which is seldom. And then a coach that's being a dick to me at times. You know what I mean? So that talk about perseverance, talk about determination. The dude runs circles around me.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think I could be in his situation and move forward. Yeah. I would probably be, I'll never get out of this. I'm screwed.
And
I'm an Indian. I'm just going to clean this shit up.
Yeah.
And that's my life.
Like to think that if I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing. I would try to persevere and I would try to, you know, overcome that adversity. But I can't, unless you're in those situations, unless you're wearing those mismatched shoes, you don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was about right when you were talking about that story. I'm like, is he going to run? I was saying, like, is he run barefoot?
I did know the mismatched shoes story. I did know that.
Yeah, I understand. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I did know that he had to wear an extra sock. I knew all that.
There's actually even a picture of him wearing everything for that day.
Wow.
And you could see the extra sock. You could see the bigger shoe. You could see the smaller shoe.
Wow.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. And he didn't wear it just one day. He wore it 2 days of the decathlon. You know what I mean? Like,
crazy. I think it sucks that somebody did that. Like you're that fucking petty dude.
Well, if you're really that threatened about somebody else, you shouldn't even be competing in that. Then that was somebody who was insecure, didn't feel like they were,
or they knew that freaking he was going to get smoked, and he figured the best way to not. If I'm number 2 and number 1's kicking my ass, and I can't beat number 1, I guess.
Yeah,
it all determines the moral compass. My moral compass wouldn't be fuck that person over. My moral compass would be all right. Number 2 it is then, but I'm going to try that at number 1.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he had already proved he was going to destroy them in the pentathlon.
Yep.
He already proved that.
Yep.
By large margins.
Yep.
So I think they could do to try and level the playing field, I guess.
Or they tried to just say, all right, you don't have shoes, you can't run. Fuck off. I'm number 1 now.
Yeah. Probably what they thought was going to happen.
Yep.
Because he went around asking people for an extra pair of shoes. Now, if you're at the Olympics, you have extra pairs of shoes.
No, sorry. I have one. I have a right shoe. It's a little small.
Right.
That's all he got.
I have I have the left one, but it's bigger. Fucking dicks.
In the trash. Yeah, just throw that shoe away over there. You can have that one.
Dicks.
Absolutely wild. So not only did he even do that in the Olympics, but he actually came home, and this was one of his best seasons with the football team. He did 12 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a good season for him football-wise. In the midst of all of this going on, he wins a ballroom dancing competition amongst the colleges.
For dancing. Wow.
This guy just did everything.
He did everything.
And he makes a killer souffle.
I bet he does. Yeah. So, I mean,
wow.
1912 was his year.
Yeah.
It just really was his year. But unfortunately...
and say that about 1913, though, huh?
1913 is when it started to fall apart.
Yeah. Not no bueno.
Yeah. A reporter was talking to the semi-pro team that he was playing with. Then he found out Jim Thorpe actually played for him. So he blasted that story because back then in the rules of the Olympics, you had to be an amateur to play in the Olympics. You couldn't be a professional at anything. Even though it was semi-pro, he got paid and they considered it professional.
So they stripped his titles.
Stripped him.
The media.
And everybody.
Are you kidding me?
That's gonna be his catchphrase.
That's gonna be that's his stick now. Yeah, and they would even take his name out of the record books. They would put everybody a title above to take him out.
Yep.
So the second places were now first place, et cetera, et cetera. And he had to give everything back.
Wow.
It's really
Sucked.
had to be devastating.
Yeah.
And then he went to Pop Warner. This is where it gets sad because those two did. I mean, they had to have some sort of good relationship that he was there.
At least.
Yeah.
But Pop Warner was scared they were going to come for him because think about this. Back then, he went to Jim Thorpe when Jim Thorpe was playing semi-pro. So he knew.
Yeah.
He knew he was already breaking the rules.
Yep.
And the governing body of the Olympics at the time said, not only should Jim Thorpe be punished, but everybody that knew should get even more severe punishment.
Wow.
So Pop was terrified.
Wow.
He helped, quote unquote, Jim Thorpe write a letter to the Olympic Committee. It kind of resolved him.
Oh, gotcha.
Really?
Yeah, it covered Pop's butt. And it pleaded with, it showed somewhat of Jim Thorpe didn't think because it was semi-pro, he really wasn't getting paid a lot. He didn't hit the bigs yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think it was really an issue. Plus, it was baseball. It had nothing to do with javelin tossing. You know, I mean, it was completely different sport. So he thought, it's fine. Who cares? Right? Well, they cared. They did.
Well, and they found the reason to take it off of him.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And it was, everything was already up against him.
Yeah. And have the record books not have an Indian at the top. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was sad is when he came home from the Olympics, they had parades and banquets. He was celebrated. He was a hero. You know, even though he was not a citizen yet.
Wow.
America wouldn't, the government would not allow Indians to be citizens at this point yet.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So he competed for America, not as an American citizen.
Sounds about right. We get everything from
What
China.
the hell?
Yeah.
We get everything from
We got
China.
American hats with
Those medals were made in China.
Yeah. You know what I mean? American flags. Taiwan,
Made in China. Yeah.
China,
Made in
Indonesia,
Yeah.
Indonesia, something.
So this really hurt him, though, his career greatly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. He even turned down professional jobs and stuff, thinking he was going to go back to the Olympics again.
Oh.
Yeah.
He even turned down those pro jobs.
Oh, he thought he was going to go back.
Yeah. So you could see his mindset really was that I was not in the wrong for doing that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been like, yes, I mean, he wouldn't have taken that chance.
Yeah.
I really don't think he would have. And that's just kind of how it looks. At this point, the heartbroken Jim Thorpe would actually find a woman, though. He did get married and have 4 children. And he did make something good out of it because he did get signed to a professional baseball team for 3 years. He'd get $6K a year.
Nice.
Doesn't sound much now, but back then it was pretty good money.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really athletic when it came to baseball. Really kind of signed more for publicity.
Oh.
They did let him play.
Right.
Alcohol got in the way. And his lighthearted foolishness got in the way. Coach didn't like how much he kind of played around. I mean, after all he's gone through, that's a defense mechanism for the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So it even got to one point where he was chased downfield just trying to start a fight during a pro game, playing for the Giants.
Wow.
Try catching him. Good luck. But after 2 years there, they really didn't want him. So he got traded, and that was pretty much the end of his career.
Gotcha.
For baseball. He just wasn't bringing in the ticket sales they were expecting, and he was hard to handle.
Right.
Sad. But at least he did get his time as a pro ball player.
It's true.
Yep. Sure
you
did.
say what you want. He was a pro ball player.
Yep.
He really was. He did get married, had 4 children with that first wife. Say first because you'll find out it's of many.
Oh, gosh.
And at this point, in 1918, one of his sons died from polio.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's another tough death.
But
I mean, just tough. And that's when his drinking got a little bit worse. He was still in the ball club when his son died. And he was taking it pretty hard. And that's when, he just couldn't stay at the level they were at, unfortunately. But after he got traded to Boston Braves at this point, he was training football players. And he also played some football during that time as well, even going as far as starting his own Indian team, all Indian team. He was very, very, very pronounced spokesman for the Indians.
Yeah.
He had the position and authority to do it, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he shed a lot of light on their struggles and was an advocate for them and everything.
Right.
So.
He really was. And it's pretty cool part of his legacy that he was able to do that.
And that wasn't even his purpose. It just became his purpose,
right?
Automatically without even attempting.
He pivoted so much in his life.
He really did.
Yep.
He really did. And unfortunately, though, the drinking was quite an issue. Although he didn't drink all the time, he did drink a lot.
He did.
He's a binge drinker.
Did. Yeah.
There's two different types of alcoholism. Yeah.
Yeah, and you figure. So he was always training football players. He had the football team. He was playing football, and then he was also playing baseball. He was gone a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So that first wife, she wasn't very happy because, you're gone all the time.
Quality time.
Drink.
Yeah, quality time.
Quality time.
That's pretty brutal. Yeah. So that ended, unfortunately.
He wasn't filling her love tank.
No, he really wasn't. And, and think about Indians. When they would go on a hunt, sometimes they would be gone for weeks chasing animals.
Yeah.
So to him, I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine this was probably similar to him. Yeah. He's going out, he's making money. He's going out. The hunt. Yeah, he's doing the hunt.
Yeah.
He's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
And it just, in that society, you were supposed to do 9 to 5, come home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was actually a lot of debate over that first wife because she was supposedly Indian. But nobody could actually trace her back to being an Indian. No. Even though they went to Carlisle, the dad supposedly forged documents saying she was an Indian to get her into Carlisle.
Oh.
Because it was easier and less money and more prestige and all that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there were some issues even there.
Probably got treated like shit the whole time because she probably wasn't in the sport. So
yeah, exactly.
Talk about the real catfish. You ain't even Indian. No.
Yeah. So after that, though, he would get married again, have 4 more kids, all sons this time. Yeah. So we're up to 8 minus.
Can't pull out for shit.
8 minus 1. That's 7 now.
You could just throw stuff.
He said 4. 8 minus 1, 7 kids now. So you did the math for that one too.
That's good. Wonderful.
And it was pretty sad because he was busy, with all these things going on.
Right.
His one daughter even said she wasn't sure he even knew her name.
Wow.
Which that's kind of rough. That's kind of rough.
I wonder if any of them still live in the area.
He's a peekaboo dad.
Peekaboo dad.
Peekaboo dad.
That's peekaboo dad. I forgot about that episode.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Oh, yeah.
But in his head, it was him providing.
Yeah.
He was the man. He was out there hunting and providing. He obviously was messed up from all the deaths and all the adversities that were thrown at him, for sure.
Right.
And it seemed like, unfortunately, alcohol was his release. Really sucks. But at 40, so he's at 40 years old, he would actually retire from football as a athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Retired at 40.
It's pretty freaking old, actually.
Yeah. Especially for that day and age to play a professional sport.
Yeah, the only ones that play that now are like quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
He's out there taking hits.
Yeah, without pads on.
Which 40 back then's like 85 now. So
probably,
yeah.
Oh, what the hell? So think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and back then they were still trying to figure out the rules of football. Pop Warner and Jim Thorpe really helped pave the way of the rules for football.
Yeah,
right.
Because they were hiding footballs up their jerseys, making footballs match. Their Harvard put a football in the game that matched their jersey so you couldn't see it. And Pop Warner and Jim weren't angels either. They put a pad over their chest that looked remarkably like a football to protect their breastbone. But if you look like you grabbed the part of the breast, it looked like a football.
Yeah, you have no idea who has the ball.
Yeah.
So everybody does that, and you're like, okay, find me.
I got it.
Yeah. So I mean, these were the beginning days of football, really.
Right.
It was kind of new. It was rugby meets soccer. They were just establishing everything.
I mean, they still kind of are.
Yeah.
Everything's changing and changing and changing.
Yeah. So in between 1929, 1945, you go through many different jobs. I mean, just tons of different jobs. From shoveling dirt for a construction company to, he actually did start quite a few businesses, though. He was very business orientated, still leaning towards Indians, helping them. So he wanted to help people.
Yep.
He really did. He wanted to help his people.
Common goal here with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he started a movie company just for Indians, so that Indians could get Indian roles.
Awesome.
Wonder why he was so driven for that one. He would become a movie star as an extra and a star role. He would get over 70 different movies in.
Wow.
Which, that's a lot.
I didn't even notice about Jim Thorpe. I just thought he was an athlete and that's it. I didn't know he was in movies and
so much more to him than you would think.
Well, I guess his famous name took him lots of places. You know what I mean? Like, he's the famous Jim Thorpe. Let's get him over here. Let's do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that do that stuff now. Like they, just because they're famous, like,
like, it's just social media. Just hit a picture with you and the famous person and boom, you're blown up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But like Dwayne Johnson did it. Like he was, just in wrestling and stuff like that. And then
he was actually a college football player. He might have played semi-pro or something. He played in Tampa or
Miami. He played for,
right? Yeah, he played Miami and then wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean, then he went into movies and he became like the highest paid person in all of entertainment,
Yeah. Well, I don't think now, though, is he?
No, I don't know about now. I don't know. Is he still one of the highest?
Who?
Dwayne Johnson.
I know his t-shirts are $50 on Under Armour. I know that.
I think he is still.
Yeah.
He was, I know for a little while, he was the highest paid person in all of entertainment.
I remember when that released. I thought that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of getting sick of him in movies, though.
He's not the best actor. He's really not the best actor.
I mean, I love him. Don't get me wrong. I still love him. I think he's great. I just feel like he's taken roles from people that may have fit the role a little better. Yeah. Maybe.
Well, he crushed Black Adam. That was worse.
Yeah.
That was horrible. And what he did to the Superman guy, the Cavill or whatever, he smoked him over. You gotta research that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened with him?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. He manipulated numbers to make his look. Black Adam look like it made more money and stuff. He just manipulated stuff.
And what's not helping is people are getting sick of the superhero movies.
Yeah.
It's the same format over and 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 over, or just different people and faces.
Well, they say there's actually no original ideas left now these days. There is none. Like everything that you could possibly think of right now has already been done in some way, shape, or form. Every storyline or plot, it's all been done.
Baloney. Absolute baloney. They've said this in the Golden Age. They said this in the Bronze Age. They've said this during the Industrial Revolution. It's baloney.
Yeah.
You just think we're tapped out. We're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the Maui shit got rock fucked up for a minute.
Oh, that was sad. So what was it? It was like a hedge fund they put the money in?
Yeah. What happened was him and Oprah put in, I forget how much it was, but I think it was 10 million, 5 million each. But yeah, instead of it going right to Maui, it went to this hedge fund, and then people started researching the hedge fund, and like nobody makes less than 200 grand in a hedge fund. So but the money goes to them first, then Maui. So like even Aquaman, the dude that plays Aquaman and all the chicks love.
Yeah.
Jason
Momoa.
Jason Momoa, yeah. So he even came out and said like, don't just give the money to the people. Some people are claiming like that they're here to help, but they're not. And then the money disappeared.
It disappeared?
Yeah, supposedly they couldn't find the money that Oprah put in. So then The Rock came out online and said, I really I have a lot of respect for Oprah and the many things she did. This is just horrible, whatever. So he tried to like backpedal a little bit to get his name out of the spotlight while Oprah's in. Because then Oprah then, from everybody finding out the hedge fund and shit, she then went online or went on a TV show or some shit, and she interviewed saying that she, is a victim now. She played victim role the whole time. So like people are like super hating Oprah. And then there's this
she's worth like $1 billion.
She's worth almost $2 billion. $1.8 billion.
Oh, $1.8 billion.
Yeah, between her and The Rock, they're worth over $2 billion, and they only gave $5 million each. Like honestly, dude, with that amount of money, like if I was Oprah and I had that much money, it doesn't take that much money to flip Maui around.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Why wouldn't you just drop the money on Maui?
Yeah.
And then write it off at the end of the year as a donation. Drop the money on Maui.
I don't know, man. That's
why she's getting hate, and that's why The Rock's getting hate.
Feel bad because Rock just seems like a genuinely nice guy. Everybody you talk to, I think I don't know. I really don't know enough to talk about it.
I heard he was this total dick in high school. I even met somebody he knocked out in high school. Yeah, he's from Bethlehem, bro. I lived in Allentown for a while. Worked out at Gold's Gym. Yeah,
he's from Bethlehem.
Yeah, he's from Bethlehem, bro.
What?
Yeah. He went to. He's related to the Usos and Anoys and stuff. Yeah, they're a big, huge wrestling family. Love them. All awesome people. Love Samu and all of them. They're all amazing. Lovely people. I mean, they brought me in and showed me some wrestling stuff. And I still, watched them on Facebook and stuff. Love them all. They're all really, really awesome people. And I think The Rock would be no different. But you know how, sometimes fame can change one.
Well, yeah. I often forget you were in wrestling.
Yeah.
I forget that so often.
But you also got to think, like, even if The Rock does have a good heart on him and he wants to do the right thing, there's still powers that be above him that can cancel him at any moment's notice. So he has to bend the knee. All these people have to bend the knee in one way or another.
I look at what John Cena did with China.
Yeah, he bent the knee hard.
He bent the knee hard. Well, let's talk about somebody who didn't bend their knee.
And that's
Jim Thorpe.
It's just crazy. I want examples like him in my life. I want examples and stories of him in my life, not people that have millions and millions of dollars that, once in a while throw a bomb.
I don't think people really I think people really they don't appreciate how much a million is compared to $1 billion.
Oh yeah.
No.
It's like if I gave you $20,000 a week for the next 52 weeks or something like that, you'll have $1 million.
Yeah.
But if I give you $20,000 a week, how long do you think it would take to get $1 billion?
A lot.
Like 50,000 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like the difference, the difference is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think people really truly appreciate the difference between those two.
They really don't.
So if you have that much money, you're not hurting. You could fork out more.
Yeah, I mean, I would if I was her, I would have $1.8 billion and I could use it as a write-off at the end of the year. I'd probably give 20 million. Easy 20 million. Easy 20 million.
By myself.
I mean, we give more money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyway.
All right, we're getting off topic. That's another topic for a podcast.
Another topic.
And that's probably when we get canceled. Anyways, next.
Yeah.
From the media?
Yeah.
What?
He did it again, bro.
Yeah, I heard it.
But I mean, let's talk about back to Jim Thorpe. He did get his titles back in 83.
Yeah, he did.
They did give him his titles back in 83. They bumped everybody back down. I guess.
No.
I don't know what happened.
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
No, that's what's sad. They didn't bump everybody down. It's shared medals.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is the stupidest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
I thought they gave him his medal back.
They did.
They gave him half of his medal back.
They really just gave him half.
Yeah.
And he was dead already at that time.
Right.
So his family got some medals to show for it. His kids did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and
Hey, sorry we were such a dick to your dad.
Yeah. And you go look at the records, you see, hey, these two guys got gold. One has 7 points. The other one has 21. What happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at least the numbers stand for he got it.
Yeah.
How would you be? I mean, I would probably forfeit it at that point in time. Like, I'm not going to share half a medal with him. Like, you could tell that he just whooped my ass. I feel like I'm, getting a handicap over here. It's like a mulligan.
Yeah.
I'm a mulligan.
Same thing happened. Like the same type of thing happened to like one of our local you know, it's like a little bit of local history here with the Maroons when they played.
Yeah.
They won the world championship, and then they were stripped of the title because they played a scrimmage against Notre Dame. They were warned not to, because back then they thought they thought college football was better than professional, and then and they went in there and they beat the shit out of Notre Dame and they stripped them of their world championship title.
Yep.
You know, so but then they never got it back.
Now they're still fighting that. Actually,
They do every year. I think they have a vote.
Yeah. They still fight it to this day. I was just at the museum.
Yep.
And they're still fighting it. Still trying to get it back. Yeah.
Went to I think it was the St. Louis Cardinals back then. Who it was, I believe. Can't remember. I think that's who they played against.
I was just at the museum and I forget.
I'm pretty sure it was back then it was the St. Louis Cardinals. They beat in the championship, and you know, and then they ended up giving them the title because Maroons played Notre Dame in the scrimmage.
But a few more interesting facts. Well, now we're on to the NFL here. So before the NFL, there was the AFL.
American Football League.
They came to Jim because they knew how good he was at football and that he played forever and he was under Pop Warner. And they said, hey, do you want to be the president of our association?
Oh, that's
We're starting a new association. He got to be the very first president of the NFL, because technically the AFL became the NFL. So he was the first ever president of the NFL.
That's awesome.
That's actually really cool. I did not know that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you go through the history.
Well, he definitely made his dad proud, dude.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, even though his dad was a dick.
Unfortunately. So the first World War he was not able to go into. He was given leave when he was playing baseball. Because he had family that he was taking care of. He had 7 kids. I'm sure they looked at that and went, nope, you can stay home. We don't need you dying. But the Second World War, he got to go in. He was too old at that point. So he joined the Merchant Marines. And once they found out who he was, he was on the ship heading over. They said, no, you're not fighting. Go around and talk to all the wounded. Go around to the hospitals, give encouragement. Let's have you talk to everybody.
Wow.
But they didn't find out. They didn't realize who they had on their boat until they were heading over.
Wow. Yo, talk about purpose there.
Yeah.
So he got to touch a lot of lives.
Wow.
While he was doing that.
That's awesome.
What a guy.
Yeah. What a guy.
And this is why we chose him as a topic.
Mm-hmm.
The resiliency and everything. Goodness.
And
the impact he made. My goodness. But nobody knows it.
Nobody knows how legendary
this
one person is.
Listen to this shit.
So after that, he would have or maybe even before it, he had a heart attack.
No.
And he got all messed up from that. And he was very generous with his money. And he also liked to drink. So on top of being generous, not good with his money, and he was liking to drink, he was often broke.
Yeah.
So he would give tons of money away to Indians, and not just Indians, people that needed help. He was very generous, and he really had a genuine heart.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to help people. He really did. And it kind of left him poor a lot.
Yeah.
To the point when the 1932? Yeah. The 1932 Olympics came to Los Angeles. He didn't even have enough money for a ticket.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So his fans band together and they got him a press box seat.
Awesome.
And I forget who it was, but somebody said, no, come on up here to the presidential suite up here with me. And you could sit and watch it up here.
That's awesome.
And when he got there, here's what's pretty freaking cool. And how you knew America knew what was really going on. He got up there, he got a standing ovation.
That's awesome.
Really? Wow.
So
That's
America knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And that it was bullshit.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's making me, just freaking choke. And it made him choke up too, because, imagine how you felt.
That's awesome.
It felt like nobody supported you. You were just stripped off,
If you can imagine that, you'd be depressed. You'd be,
Yeah. No money.
But he still wanted to show up.
Yeah.
He still wanted to show up, even just to watch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So
incredible.
So be more like Jim Thorpe.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah. hustle at it.
For real.
I can't believe everything he overcame.
Yeah.
We're such pussies, dude.
We are. You got goosebumps. Either you're cold or this is motivating. The media.
So after that, he would try a bunch of little random businesses. He would go into some different adventures, and
fizzling out pretty much.
He was fizzling out, is what it was. But
he's probably in his 50s or 60s by now.
Yeah. So at that point, he divorced again, unfortunately. Alcohol. He was actually up and down. He was getting a little bit better with his alcohol with his second wife, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Because he did still go and abuse alcohol.
Yeah.
So he was getting better. He had periods without it. So that's at least, dude, he's showing progress.
Yeah.
He's progressing as he gets older even.
Yeah.
Like wild stuff. I mean, it must be hard. Imagine being a legend. You walk into a bar, Jim Thorpe, let me buy you a drink. You're going to get that everywhere you go. You're going to get that everywhere.
Have a beer with me.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm drinking with the man, Jim Thorpe. Let's stay here all night. I got your drinks all night.
Yeah. And that literally did happen to him.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's part of why it was so hard.
You need food? I'll get you food too. Why not? I mean, I would be,
I would too.
Starstruck. I'd be like, hey, man, you need something? Can I get you something?
Yeah. Yeah. But his third wife helped turn some things around. His third wife's name was Patsy. The reason I remember her name because there's a lot of issues around Patsy.
Got you. Yeah.
So he met Patsy, and Jim Thorpe even said himself, he woke up the next day and was married and remembered nothing.
Wow.
A little suspicious.
Yeah.
A little suspicious. So she was considered possibly opportunistic and,
took advantage of a bad situation. Yeah.
Maybe. And what was really important, though, was she became his manager.
Oh.
Not just his wife. And now he was getting paid to speak at places. She started helping turn the story of Jim Thorpe around a little.
Awesome. Good for her.
Yeah. Be opportunistic as she may, and as we'll unfortunately see, she did help turn his legacy around.
Yeah.
Good.
You know what I mean? Because he could have fizzled out, died drunk in a bar somewhere, face down in a ditch,
Yeah.
But she helped turn that around a little bit. And I think not enough people give her enough credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she may have been a bit gold diggery, but he also helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, at this point, she was helping him with that. But at 1953, he had his third heart attack. Now, what a legend. He's made it through 2 heart attacks already. Still going hard. His third heart attack a couple days after he passed from.
Yeah.
That's what really actually took
These
him
pussies
down.
Today can't even handle 1 heart attack.
Oh, my God. It's advanced medicine. Oh, my God.
All right. Man, this episode's going a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, it's a lot on Jim Thorpe.
There's a lot on Jim Thorpe. It's an inspirational story.
So now we get into the last bit, which is the end and the messiest bit, I think, quite yet. Funeral.
Oh.
So the funeral. Now, Jim Thorpe didn't have a will, unfortunately. It's important. Write a will.
Oh,
Don't give a crap.
He had will, all right.
Oh, he had will.
Bum tis.
He had shoe will.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
It makes me want to write a will now. I don't have a will.
Yeah, if you don't have a will written, write one.
Yeah.
Because what happens next, you'll see why it's so important. I don't care how old you are.
The government takes it.
Well, no, actually, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
But what did happen was he had said to his children and some other people, he wanted to go back to Sac and Fox land, and he wanted a traditional Indian Sac and Fox burial.
Yep.
They got the body back there, started preparing everything because it was a 2-day ceremony for them. They did it. They blew it out.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. I don't think we do that enough.
No.
But they were preparing everything, and Patsy came down and said, no, it's too cold. With police officers, took the body.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So now you can see
that's his heritage, though.
She's a little bit of an opportunistic girl.
Yeah.
Because at this point, she was then trying to find a place for him to rest that would pay, basically. He wanted somebody to pay her for the body.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately. And it took years of holding on to his body for them to find a place finally.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't until 1957 that he would
What did
come.
they do with his body? They just left it sit
They
somewhere?
held it in a mortuary, and I don't know what they actually did. I know it went to a mortuary after that. They had a Catholic mass for him, stuff like that, because he was technically Catholic. He was.
Okay.
But he still,
I would have left him with his pride or his tribe, brother.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't have a will. She was next, and she had legal right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And his
Let's
children.
Let's just wrap him in saran wrap over until somebody's going to pay me.
It's fucked up.
That's what happened.
Who pays for bodies like that, though? Like, oh, I want Jim Thorpe's body to bury him in my plant or something.
Unfortunately, Mauchunk and East Mauchunk.
I don't know about any of this. That's another. We have to do another episode on that then, because I don't know any of that stuff.
Well, I'll wrap it up here real quick.
Okay.
So, what happened was she went around, found somebody to buy the place. There was these two coal towns called Mauchunk and East Mauchunk that were kind of failing. Their anthracite had gone by the wayside a bit.
Okay.
They were losing money. And they said, let's make this a tourist town. We'll buy Jim Thorpe's body. We'll combine our towns and we'll name ourselves Jim Thorpe.
And the one vote.
Oh, that's what happened.
And the one vote to change it to Jim Thorpe.
So those two towns combined, changed their name to Jim Thorpe, bought the body off of Patsy, his wife.
And buried Jim Thorpe and Jim Thorpe.
They gave him a nice big tomb, literally a tomb. Pretty cool, actually. But yeah. And unfortunately, in the beginning, it wasn't a success. Tourism floundered there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you'll hear a lot of different books and people that have written about him. He would go to the tomb, it'd be overgrown, and it would.
Oh, they didn't take care of it. They didn't maintain it.
But that's not the case today. People actually value and treasure Jim Thorpe, and they have built a great honoring legacy town for him.
Yep.
That has been completely changed. But back then, they weren't making money off it. They didn't have money to spend. Their towns were failing.
Yeah.
Whole industry wasn't paying very well for them, which we'll get into in another episode. But anyway,
right.
It was in that town, in his grave. It was pretty cool. They actually went and got dirt from 4 different locations to put at his tomb. From his family farm back in Oklahoma, from the Carlisle athletic field, from New York's grounds for the Giants when he played baseball, because that meant a lot to him. He really did like baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And from the Olympic Stadium over in Sweden.
That's
So
cool.
all that dirt is actually in the tomb with him from those places.
That's crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty
That's
cool.
Pretty cool.
I still want to let him get buried with his people, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would have did.
What happened was, in the beginning, there is actually a government law that said you can reclaim your Indian heritage items and bone and dead people. You can actually claim them back. But the issue was, it was his wife. She had legal right. So the right couldn't trump that. And all the children were for it until Jim Thorpe started turning around and it started becoming more honoring. And then the children, now it's kind of divided. And I think there's 2 children left yet that still want the bones back. But then the others are okay with it now because it is being honored in Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that I talk to absolutely adores Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they keep a lot of the history there, you know.
Pretty cool, some of the tourist attractions that they do have now.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a lot of food there. They have one Irish place that I like to eat at, right?
I actually drive through there quite a bit, and it's actually, man, coming down the mountain, especially in like the fall.
It's beautiful.
This time, like, just the mountain ranges, like looking at the ridge, like it's incredible.
Even just going over the bridge,
even go over the bridge,
Jim Thorpe is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's really nice to look.
Yeah,
I think, and what I'm saying about the restaurant, that's on the other side of the bridge. Yeah, when you think about it, not many people go into Jim Thorpe's, all right?
No.
A lot of them are outside. They do the train and stuff.
So
that's still considered Jim
parts.
Thorpe. It's still considered Jim Thorpe.
It is still separated.
Yeah.
There is 2 parts.
Yeah, just not going over the bridge.
So Mauchunk and East, and
it really is still East in Mauchunk. Yeah. Because I had my wife's friend actually lives up in the not tourist side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is like a basic rundown coal town.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it really is. And then the tourist side is beautiful though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's how it is. That's how it is everywhere.
yeah, but
Whole region.
Yeah. So
wish Pottsville would try and reform itself to some of its former glory.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I have on Jim Thorpe.
I learned a lot today.
So did I.
I also feel like I need to write a will.
Yes.
And that I should not be bitching about the little things that are holding me back now. Because,
like your cold feet.
Yeah. Good one. Anything really. Like, stop making excuses. I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise, we're just freaking weak.
Victims.
Yep.
For real.
Wow. Jim Thorpe.
Thanks a lot, Jim Thorpe.
Yep.
Yes. Get more Jim Thorpe thoughts in our heads. Get some purpose and drive. Night that drive, my friends.
And stay with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That was good.
Good takeaways. Yep.
Till next time.
Till next time, guys.
Take care.
See
you later.